wish I thought about that when I was teaching. I think I may have told y'all this. Did I tell you about the cot, making up the cot with the first child that I ever had as a dual language learner?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, first year teacher, first child speaks Spanish. And I'm like, you take the sheet and you put it on the cot and and I'm like yelling at this child. He's like, and that's not the way but showing him how to put the sheet on the cot and putting sheet on the cot, that kind of thing's fine. But it's a flower. But I had to learn a lot of these different strategies through it.
Hard.
So yeah. But if you have these kind of tools, it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And I would reach out to, like, if you have children in your class that speak Spanish or whatever, like Sam's daughter, she wants to come and be with children who speak Spanish or engulfed in that. And so it may be like reaching out to the high school or to ASU's Spanish department and be like, we would love some volunteers just to come in twice a week.
Come to my classroom, please.
You could just have it on your phone and be like, I have all these different things taped. Could you tell me what this is?
It's so hard because when he'll speak both at the same time, and I'm like, hang on.
Right.
And he's like, okay, see.
Right.
And then he'll keep going, but then he'll do it again, and he'll start in English and then end in Spanish. And I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
Right, so it may help, that might be a good tool to use, is to reach out to the high school Spanish teacher and be like, do you have any high school students that want to come out one morning a week where they come out and help you translate things?
Oh, here?
And then on page 8, you got another one that says content and dual language learners. Make content easier and more meaningful for dual language learners by using their home language where possible and by using nonverbal cues, gestures, and visuals to help them understand what you're saying. That was a big thing with me. From that one child showing, in preschool, at this age group, you're showing anyway. You're showing how to push the chair up underneath the table. You're showing them how to walk nicely in the line. You're showing them how to do everything. So the more you can show and be animated and use your facial expressions and your hands, the better with children who are dual language learners. It's like sign language, but it's with a child that can hear.
Most of this applies too. For some reason, I get a lot of children who have speech issues.
Right.
It's almost a foreign language.
Right, totally.
The parents know how to speak to them. They know what words that they use and what the child's words mean, but you have to learn their language.
Oh yeah, it's like limited English proficiency. That's what it is too, I think, with children who have speech. So the more you can show, the more you can visualize, the more you can have pictures, the more you can do that, and couple that with your words, and not too many words, but those phrases, it's going to help them. So homework, translate this sentence. Why did that happen? And one other possible open-ended question that you could use with the dual language learner. Okay. All right, so this is a thinking chair, and this is, what can you do as a beginning or experienced teacher to guarantee that intentionality has a place in your daily interactions with children? Just one idea that you'll have. What can you do as a beginning or experienced teacher to guarantee that intentionality has a place in your daily interactions with children? Anybody have an idea? We talked a little bit about it. And I can give you an example if you want.
Yeah, do that.
Okay.
I want to say something, but I'm like, I don't want it to be wrong.
Don't worry about it being wrong. Nothing's wrong. It's the process. Again, I'm not a yes and no kind of person. But making sure that you're listening to the children and you're understanding what their interests are. That's a big thing with me. Is just watching them. That's intentionality.
Though, at center time, when they're in centers, go around and talk to them about what they're doing and what they want to do with it. Because that's something I learned with you last time, and now that I do it, you're like, wow, their imaginations are out here, and it's just very intriguing to me. Everybody's like, how do you get so intrigued by little kids? I was like, because they're amazing. They teach you, like, if everybody would take the time to sit down with kids and really do what we do
Right,
on a daily basis, I think they would understand our passion for it.
right.
Because children can probably educate you more than you can educate them.
Yeah, you learn a lot from children. And that was one thing in class was there was one video that we watched where a teacher, it was like they're getting up from large group or they're coming in the classroom and she had a clipboard and she was like, okay, tell me where you're going to go. And they would be like, one blocks. Be like, what's she going to do on blocks? And he's like, I'm going to build a veterinarian hospital.
I know, he was like,
And be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna come and check in on you in a little bit, because I really wanna see what's going on over there. And then you go and do it. So that's intentionality. You're asking the children what they're gonna do, you're planning it, you're helping them get there and do that.
and they love it too, though. Like, they're so excited to share with you.
They
Like,
are!
they'll say that. Like, I've heard them too. They're like,
And they know that you value them as a person, you know, and they value that you want them to be learning and doing in your classroom. So
it's a
that,
huge difference.
that's intentionality. Anybody else have anything, or we can move on? So just think about that. How can you be intentional in your classroom? Write that down too. Like, how is one way that I'm going to start promoting intentionality in my classroom or my home or my program? Why? Yeah, we had extra money at the end of the year that we had to spend on certain things. And I was like, we need a new computer upstairs. Please, and a new Keurig machine. All right, so there's coffee over there, y'all. I made some. So this is best practices for intentional teacher. I'm sure y'all heard about this. Again, this is like, you know, the thing that you hear about. Kind of, it's like buzzwords that we hear about. But best practice is having a goal in mind for the children's learning. So you have it in your mind, like that goal of what you want to see happening. Identifying interesting and open-ended materials, both outdoor and in the classroom, that support learning. So open-ended materials like include like blocks. Like they can do anything with those. They can build anything they want with those. Play-Doh. They can be making pizzas. They can be making worms. They can be making whatever, spaghetti. Free choice art materials are available all the time that you have free choice opportunities. So the children know, like, these art materials are here for you to use anytime you want to. You can use them at this table. If you have sisters, you have to sit down with them. But these are all for y'all to use, and it's part of that open-ended materials. I think a lot of times I go into places and they have their art materials up or they're down, but the children really don't know that they can really use them. So really making sure that the children know that they can use them.
Thank you.
You get to play somewhere fun
Let's go in
and
here.
new. This way. It might be fun for them to come here, you know, one day a week.
And I did it with Mariah. My sub would come and keep them there.
Yeah.
Because they were so little, I didn't just leave them.
No, yeah. This is kind of fun for them. Major used to come like once a week and he loved it. Let's see. Encouraging children to explore the materials and concepts at their own developmental level. Encouraging children to interact with and learn from each other. Again, these are all best practices. Provide opportunities for them to generalize their ideas across situations and with varied materials. So, you know, one thing is I had to kind of like break away from, because I was a little OCD. I was OCD. I had to go therapy for it. But, so one thing as a beginning teacher was, you got to keep those blocks in that area. You got to keep those materials in that, go put, you know, that stays in that area, you know, but instead they were like, I have an idea with this dump truck to use over here in this area. Or so instead of saying, you got to keep it over there, say, ooh, I see you got a dump truck and you're walking over this way with it. Tell me your plan. What's your plan with that dump truck? you know? And they'll be like, well, I was taking the dump truck over here because I saw a lot of trash on the floor from these art clippings, and I was gonna load it up and then dump it in the trash. Dude, blow my mind, do it, go. You're helping my classroom, you're cleaning it up, wow. Instead of being like, go put that back, that stays over there. And they're like, oh, but my brain was telling me this. And then you just stopped it.
I think that's still my hardest thing, like I've
It's
gotten
hard,
to
man.
it, but I get really,
But ask them their plan.
whenever like there's stuff all over.
So don't let that happen. Don't let it be chaos. I'm not saying just let them go everywhere with everything for no purpose. Ask them what their purpose is. Be intentional about it. Get them to be intentional about it. You know, put it on them. Have expectations. Ooh, I see you're moving that. Where are you going to go with it over here? Why? If there's not a real good reason for it, then you might be like, well, it really stays over there. But if you think of a reason why it needs to go there, let me know. And we'll have a plan for it. And I can't wait to see that happen. That kind of thing. So that's over different areas. Read, we're not going to do this because we're not going to have time. I would like for y'all to do this for homework, okay? So, on page 1, there's just like there's like this little teeny, not big section. It's just a little snapshot from the classroom. Yeah, it's that first part, the very first part of the book. What I want you to do is look at best practices, which are in your book. It's in chapter 2, and try to categorize these. How is that happening in this little story? Okay? Do you understand that one? So on page 1, read it, and then try to look at how many best practices are being done in that little story. Okay? I'm just going to have y'all work together, or we're not going to do it. Oh, come on. Oh. So 6 key areas of responsibility. Intentional teachers must apply best practice principles in 6 areas of responsibility. So this is your responsibility as a teacher who's intentional. Planning curriculum. Structuring the physical learning environment. So, I said before you got here, there's this book. There's actually a better book that I don't know. I gotta look it up. But there's a book in here. And if you want to check it out this week, you can. We'll start with Fallon maybe. Check it out downstairs. Look through it. It's beautiful things that you can do to your classroom that are simple, easy. That kind of makes it more beautiful. This isn't like my favorite book, but you can look and see if there's 1 or 2 or 3 things or even more things that you want to try in your classroom. One thing that I did when I moved to Hardin Park, I moved from Bethel to Hardin Park, and it was a new classroom. I didn't have very much money at all to open this huge class. It was huge. Did you ever read? Oh my God, it was massive. So I didn't have much money. I didn't have much time, but I loved baskets. They were like more naturalistic than like tubs or, you know, plastic bins. And I really wanted to add more natural kind of homey things. And so I went to thrift stores and I got little baskets. They were like 50 cents a piece, $1. And I got all these little baskets, and it made my classroom more comfortable feeling. It wasn't just like a sterile, like boxy kind of thing. And I still had I had clear bins too, but I added in baskets in different areas, and it just made it prettier. But there was different things that you can add to your program. They're cheap, thrift store kind of things that make it homey. You're lucky because you're in the home. It's like it just feels good being there because it's a comfortable place. But being in a sterile environment with concrete walls to make it more beautiful, there's easy, cheap things you can do. Scheduling the program day, which we're going to be talking about next week. And I'm going to get you to bring in a copy of your schedule. Okay? And we're going to look at that and see if it's matching up with the best practices and responsibility of it. Interacting with children is your responsibility, which we learn through class, which I definitely tell y'all to go back to that class book once a month. Just read maybe one section of it. Just be like, am I doing this? or if you're having that issue